All right. Well, welcome back to another episode of And Money. Cheers and good morning.
Good morning. We are drinking some Rocket coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It's delicious.
Rocket Coffee is
Organic.
very close to our house. Do they have only one location? I don't know.
I
But
don't know. It's very good though.
it's a shop local, hashtag shop local.
I think you just did some Christmas shopping
I
this morning.
did because the way we've done Christmas and Thanksgiving in the past is sometimes during Thanksgiving, because now we celebrate Thanksgiving at home, or Thanksgiving. Now we celebrate Christmas at home, because that was a very important thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Once we started having kids and they started like really getting into and understanding Christmas, that we had that time at home on Christmas Day. So sometimes like whoever we're doing Thanksgiving with will also just like lump in Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister has a wedding to go to over Thanksgiving weekend.
Literally on Thanksgiving Day, right?
Wait, it's on? No. It's that weekend.
Oh, okay.
But they have
Saturday.
to travel over Thanksgiving because it's in New York.
Yeah.
They have to get there.
So
we're doing our family Thanksgiving / Christmas.
Not even on Thanksgiving.
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
When is it?
It's in less than 2 weeks.
Like
But anyway, yes, you've had to do Christmas shopping for that side of the family.
Yeah, but thankfully this year
Thankfully, the Black Friday deals are already going
I was going to say, thankfully this year everybody did their Amazon lists.
Yes.
Because even you, I'm so proud of you.
I've been working so hard, so diligent.
Dave is notoriously difficult to buy for. We talked about this in the last episode.
Yeah.
But
no need to rehash it. Let's focus on someone else.
You did. I told you throughout the year, I was like, if you think of something, just like throw it on your list. And you did.
I did.
And so my mom called me and she was like, Dave has stuff on his list. She's like, I actually have a question. You called to ask a question about.
Oh, you're going to tell me what she's going to buy?
No, an idea she had for you.
Aw.
But she was like, what do you think you would prefer? Because she also got ideas from what you put on your list. And so I gave her some pointers.
That's
but she was very proud of you too.
Thank you. Oh, man. I'm just so proud of myself these days.
My dad too. I was like, Dad, put stuff on your list. And he put like...
No, don't even. I guarantee you I know what it is.
No,
it's like
he put like...
yard stuff.
No.
What?
A tire gauge. I'm not even kidding. Shout out, Dad.
Oh, that's really funny. Okay.
An open flow tire air chuck and a tire pressure gauge are the first two things on this man's Christmas list.
Did he like rate them, or that they just happened to be at the top of his list?
I think it's just like whatever you most recently.
Okay. Because you can like rank them.
To be fair, there is other stuff like shirts and other things, but
I love it.
Maybe not only my dad's. I feel like there are people like, yeah, my dad would do that too.
Yep. Makes sense.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I wasn't even planning on talking about Black Friday.
I know. We just jumped right in.
But
it's great.
We are at that season where, you know, we're supposed to be thankful, right? Grateful.
Thanksgiving.
You know, that's Thanksgiving. It's the whole month of November, I feel like, is supposed to be thinking of others. And it's just always ironic to me how much is pushed on the consumer right now about like, go buy. It's like, oh, you're thinking of others. Go buy them a gift, please. Get ready for Christmas. Instead of like taking the time to actually just be grateful for where you are and being content in what you have and what, you know, the life stage you're in. It's very much like you need these things.
It's interesting that you frame it like that you feel the messaging is like, think of others. Because to your point, like Thanksgiving, being thankful is to look at what do you have and not really, it shouldn't be at least primarily about physical things that you have, but you're supposed to be thankful for our family and relationships and, you know, all of the wonderful blessings that God gives us. But when I think of like marketing, I don't think of it as like you're thinking of other people. Go buy them a gift.
That's true.
It's like
sometimes there are.
I don't know.
Commercials.
Well, sometimes, but I feel like we're in such a like hyper self-care focus culture right now, which is self-care is important, but it can be taken to a selfish care level. And I think that's what a lot of the marketing pushes are around Thanksgiving and Christmas is like, you deserve this. Or even if it's presents for other people, especially for kids, there's so much pressure around like
it's insane.
the Christmas you give to your kids. And it's like, don't your kids deserve this? Don't you want to like the car? Every time they come out with car commercials, like they're always in number one, the wife is always wearing this like white cashmere sweater, and the husband is always some like you can tell he's some sort of like executive, and they have this gorgeous house, and they both buy each other
Lexus
cars. Pillar of Lexi. And it's just, it's very much a don't you want this life?
I mean, it is appealing.
It is appealing.
It seems really clean and nice, and some snow flurries falling. The red ribbons, very.
I was going to say the big red bow.
Yeah.
Have you seen the SNL skit about it?
Yes, I have. It is magical.
He was like 0% APR. She's like, APR? Do you mean APR? And he thinks like the down payment is the entire
cost of the car.
And it's like the start of the commercial where he like hands her the keys, and she's like, "Oh, you did it." And then the music cuts and sounds like, "Arr!" And she's like, "This is a major purchase. Like, why would you do this without talking to me?" It poked so many holes in that facade. And that's like the biggest one is those like, seriously, at what level do you think the common like American is at statistically that you think we're all just out buying each other new cars for Christmas?
You have to be in that top 5-10%.
I would say top 2 to 3% because they just came out. The average car price has now hit $50,000. Average? Yes. Actually, I want to.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Well, you also have to think through like they're probably equating all the SUVs that are purchased, all the big trucks, all the really fancy cars. There aren't many cars, like new cars, that are going for less than what, 30,000. So,
well, exactly. So mid-October is when they released it. The average price for a new car has surpassed $50,000, which we have talked about in previous conversations with clients. We have client videos that go out just to our current client base. And one thing we used to talk that I've talked about before is how the reason that SUVs and trucks are so ubiquitous in the United States has to do with a tariff war that happened in the 60s that started with chickens.
Yep.
Yes.
We got some chickens going on here.
So, so Europeans put a tax on like poultry. And the US did not like that and retaliated with a tariff on European, like specifically European SUVs.
SUVs.
So it was when the VW bus kind of faded away. That had less to do with like, oh, hippie culture kind of went away in the 70s, like people evolved. And no, it's because it became too cost prohibitive for people. And so fewer people started buying them because of this tariff.
The VW bus is back.
It is.
Yeah.
Which is
crazy.
Which is interesting.
Bus.
Because it's electric.
Yeah.
That's why. Because that has different rules. But because of that, car makers kind of saw a vacuum to be filled with demand for US made trucks and SUVs. And so because there's less competition from foreign markets, that's why they will push people to bigger vehicles. And as like we've kind of had, the way I would describe it is like space bloat in terms of like the average house size in the US has
it went from
increased.
like what 1,400 square feet, now it's at like 2,500.
Yeah. Same with like space bloat. Like everyone
In cars,
wants
yeah.
more. So it's like, because we all feel the need, like we need more space, that both in houses, and that's, I think, part of where the issue is with like the 50-year mortgage that Trump is proposing.
I have the 50-year mortgage on my list of things to talk about.
Well,
it's very interesting.
Part of it, some of the critics are like, even, and there's plenty of critique for it, even if it did help with the demand side of things, it doesn't help on the supply side. And
Right.
I think what I read this morning is like, we're going to be 1.1 million units short by the end of the year for housing. And part of it is people want bigger house. There's no such thing as a starter house anymore.
Yeah.
So we all want bigger houses. Even if you want an SUV or a truck, you want it bigger.
Yeah.
You want more space. We all just, for some reason, we all just want things that have more space in them. And I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Maybe we're all getting a little claustrophobic. Maybe it's just we have the resources now, or we have the access to debt like we never had before.
True. Very true. We've talked about that in a previous episode of how the access to debt has exploded since the 70s.
Yeah. And I think some of this, there's also, you could be saying things like society cares more. Society as a whole has become more isolated, and we're okay with having our own spaces. But to have your own space, you need more space. So if everybody's just on their phones and they want to like listen to their own music or watch their own shows, you need to be in different rooms for those things. And I think there's something to be said for, like, it used to be everybody did the same thing together in a family, and now everybody's spread out and more isolated.
That's really insightful, because
Thank you.
Serious. They've talked about, especially for teenagers, one of the expectations is like, oh, your kid doesn't have their own room. Like if kids share rooms, it's like, oh, your house is small. Like it's very weird when people talk about it that way. And I mean, it's not like our kids have their own rooms. I'm not trying to like virtue signal or anything like that. But you know what I'm saying? They've talked about how, this generation, especially Gen Z, I'm hoping that we're going to learn some lessons for Gen Alpha and beyond, but talking about how they are, while they're the most connected online and technologically, then at any point in human history, we're seeing the highest levels of isolation, of anxiety, of depression rates, of suicidal thoughts, like all of those things. But I actually haven't, when we talk about that conversation, I don't think people have even talked about physically how life is set up now. And it used to be like with TV, there weren't streaming services. There wasn't on-demand stuff. So if you wanted to watch a show, like, and
everybody
you wanted
piled in and watched it together,
and you wanted to be able to go to work the next day and talk about it, it was all happening. There were more shared experiences that were happening where people were in the same room together. And then that was happening across families, across societies. And so there was more like touch points of, hey, did you watch this? Or did you see this thing last night?
You know why I think of all the different types of entertainment that are out there right now, the one thing that pervasively cuts through everything is sports, because it's a shared experience. You can record it, but then your friend might text you and totally blow it up and be like, man, I wanted to watch that.
That's the one that on demand doesn't really work for live sporting events.
Yeah, it doesn't work as well because everybody wants to watch it and talk about it. So in that same vein, like your favorite show used to be, whatever, Thursday night, and everybody watched it and talked about it on Friday. Now it's, oh yeah, I'm catching up on this show.
Don't tell me what happens.
Yeah.
What episode are you on?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have the ability to go into it as much. And by the time you've both finished that same show, you might not even be talking about it anymore because you've gone on to different shows.
You know what's funny in relationships now is there's like an expectation, like one of the cardinal sins in a relationship is like if you're watching a show together and someone watches some episodes without you, that's like,
man,
that is seen as this like very deep act of like selfishness and disrespect. Like if like a married couple, if one of our friends was like, we're in a fight, and you're like, what happened? Like, well, they watched an episode of such and such without me, everyone would be like, oh,
No way.
oh, I can understand why that would cause a fight. It's amazing that that's become, because it does create this shared experience that that feels really important,
that you don't get often anymore.
You don't get often,
yeah,
and people don't verbalize that, but it's such a big deal.
It's a huge deal
to then go and like try to watch it on your own without that person.
I was not planning on talking about this that long.
Like, how dare you?
Going back to the 50-year mortgages.
Anyway, 50-year mortgages.
Well, yeah, you're talking about these houses. First of all, it's not like the houses themselves have gotten bigger and more expensive, but also we've had a huge bout of inflation.
Yeah.
And the median income hasn't changed that much over decades.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at medium income, people being able to afford these houses, how do you afford a house now? Say it's I need to look it up, but like average home is worth 450,000, 500,000 now, somewhere in that realm. I would assume, and we are in Austin, so it might be.
Ours is probably higher. Actually, you keep talking. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, you're gonna look that up. So when we're talking about the cost of these homes and median households, now we're thinking through who can actually afford these homes. The only way that more people can afford these homes is by extending the lending time frame. And 30-year mortgages, I think that there's this picture of Roosevelt and Trump next to each other, where Roosevelt was in power when the 30-year mortgage came around.
As part of the New Deal.
More people were able to afford homes because of that, and pay a lot more in interest. In the same way, having a 50-year mortgage, now more people can afford these homes. Afford, meaning they have enough in their monthly budget to go toward paying interest.
Yeah, but if you look at them,
a little bit of principal.
Right, but if you look at the math, number one, the longer the term of any sort of debt, the riskier it is for the person loaning that.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're going to charge a higher interest rate, as is the same with the 15 versus the 30.
Right.
Which is why, like, a 15-year, you get a lower rate, but your monthly payment is going to end up being higher just because of how the amortization schedule works.
Yes.
But a 30 to a 50, I think in the math right now with, like, where are we at mortgage rate? 6.2?
Somewhere it's dropped some. So,
but even then, if you're looking at like the 6% range, that would, I haven't done the math, but like roughly, I would guess that would decrease your payment by what?
Yeah, 30 years, 6.16, 15, 5.6.
So what? That add 20 years to that, you're gonna maybe save $300, $400 a month, which feels significant. But then you're like, oh, by the way, the interest that you're paying is doubling.
Yeah,
over the life of that loan.
It's insane.
And let's say you buy a house in your 20s, you happen to be in a position where you have a down payment, or just where you live is low cost of living or whatever. So you're saying that you buy a house at 22 and you're not paying that loan off until you're 72?
Yeah, so I saw a meme, and it was, I think they said people signing up for the 50-year mortgages are going to need co-signatures from their grandchildren. So if
that's not entirely
like a 7-year-old girl that's like next to grandmother that's getting a 50-year mortgage.
Like, what am I signing, Grandma? Don't worry. Okay, so average home price in Austin is roughly $540. That's
crazy.
Median. Okay.
Yeah, median matters.
Come on,
more
AI.
Anyway.
Median sale price is around $540.
Yeah.
Median listing price is around $559 in Austin, in our area. The average for the U.S., or the median point for the U.S., $415. Yeah.
How's that close?
Median existing home price $415.
Okay.
median sale price 403. And that was as of September and July, respectively.
Man, that's crazy.
So, yes, we are, as is no surprise to us, we are in a higher cost of living area. But even then, for the average across the U.S., $400,000.
$400,000, which is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that wants like the quote unquote American dream, that's the median, right?
That's the median.
So if you're looking at that really nice over, 3,000 square foot home, lofted, whatever, big backyard, like it's going to likely, depending on your area, cost more than that.
Oh, yeah.
So
easily.
we have to be mindful of like the lifestyle creep that everybody's experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
But even folks that are just like, I just wanted to own a home because guess what? I want to have dogs and I want to have a backyard. Like when we bought our first house, like we literally got our dog right before we moved into our first home.
Because you told me we had to wait till we had a yard.
Yes.
I wanted a dog like the minute we got back from our honeymoon, but we were living in an apartment and you were like, no. And we believe that's a 2 yes, 1 no conversation. So
I like that.
Sadly, we did not get a dog until
we bought our house.
Yeah.
So, but overall, I don't know if anybody goes for the 50-year mortgage. I just want to be very certain that they understand you are signing up for crazy amounts of interest.
Yes.
And really, it's like almost like handcuffs. I don't want to say golden handcuffs, but
no,
like,
it's not golden
it's
handcuffs.
a quick way to become house rich and cash poor.
Mm-hmm. Which people already do that with a 30-year. Like that's easy to do with a 30-year.
It can be, yes, depending on how you've structured it.
And a lot of people will make the dumb argument that I've heard many times. I think people are starting to understand more and more that it's a dumb argument. But when people say, but if you have a mortgage, you can deduct the interest on your taxes. And I'm like, true, that's not an untrue statement, but that is the definition of letting the oh my word.
Tax dog.
Tax tail wag the finance dog. Ooh, I did it.
You did it. I'm so proud of you.
Took a minute. Because it's like, okay, so you're telling me to spend $1 to save. Well,
yeah.
The phrase is spend $1 to save a dime. It could be up to like spend $1 to save 37 cents.
Yeah.
But again, the math is not mathing.
Quick update. We are on day 43 of the government shutdown.
Did they just vote? Did the House pass it?
They are voting. Let's see here. The House is voting today, I believe. They're set to vote on a final passage around 7 p.m. So I think that's Eastern time.
Which this is just to go through January, right? Basically to open it for the holidays.
It's very interesting. The markets responded well yesterday, and I think a little bit today.
Well, I saw the Dow is up a lot, but that was because of some bank news that came out. Let me just pull up where markets are right now. Okay,
flat.
Dow's up 67 bips. S&P's down 13.
Yeah.
Nasdaq's down 63.
Yeah. What I think is happening, and just to give a broad overview of the market as a whole, I saw a statistic the other day that it was, I believe it was like, of the S&P 500, let me just confirm that. I believe it was 80% of the companies in the S&P 500 have had a 10% drawdown. Where that means like the top 20% are basically continuing to push the S&P 500 higher.
Yeah.
Just the price itself. There are things that we have to be more mindful of when it comes to the markets.
Sure.
And breadth is one of them. So looking at the overall breadth of the market, and there are lots of indicators to help dictate what breadth actually is going on in the market today. But those are the things that matter a lot when you start to see underneath everything, companies are rolling over in terms of their price, and you just have the select few that are holding up the price level of the overall index.
Mm-hmm.
So in our mind, like, we have to be really cognizant of that, how we invest, how we are strategic in our asset allocation, and what the balance is for risk.
Yeah.
As a result of that, we do that for all of our clients. But generally speaking, the breadth right now is not ideal. We do need to see some of these companies start to come back.
Yeah.
And if we don't, like, AI can only hold up this index so long until we start to see,
Yeah.
we need to see the revenue increase
Yes.
from
So
AI spend.
that made me think of it went viral. So a lot of people have probably seen it, where the CEO of Palantir, Alex Karp, went on CNBC because Michael Burry has.
Who's Michael Burry?
So Michael Burry, if you have watched The Big Short, he is Batman's character. Because I just forgot his character. What's his name? He played Batman.
George Clooney?
No, the one with Tom Hardy that was like, he was wearing the mask and he was like, this is how he talked. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
The Dark Knight.
I just want to keep this going.
But he had that, you know what I'm talking about? He had the, like, he was like,
Christian
I'm
Bale
going to
is
talk
who you're
about the
talking
world. That sounds like Kermit.
Christian Bale.
Okay.
Yes.
Christian Bale.
Yes.
Yes. So Michael Burry's Batman. No, I'm just kidding. So Michael Burry was famous for shorting the housing market, basically. Well, he shorted all of the credit default swaps because he actually looked at the mortgages that were in them, but he started it in 2006. So he was very early.
He bought credit default swaps.
He bought credit default swaps. Yeah. He actually had banks create them. Market. Yes. So it's actually, the movie portrays it. I mean, it's a little bit editorialized because it's Hollywood, but
you gotta make it entertaining.
The movie actually portrays like what he went through very accurately. And so, as part of SEC regulation, he is required to, on a quarterly basis, disclose, because of how his fund works, disclose his holdings. Yeah. And so people notice that he took out a big short on AI, particularly on Palantir and NVIDIA. And Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, called him bat blank crazy for doing that, and he covered it in very intelligent language. Yeah. I mean, he did say bat crazy. But he spoke very passionately. Yeah. And yes, I think
as one does when you're fighting.
Yeah, when you're the CEO of a company, and obviously
billions of dollars are on the line.
CEOs hate short sellers, hate them, because their whole job, not their whole job, but a lot of their job is to make sure their stock price goes up. And so when someone shorts it, it makes them very angry.
Well, they make a lot of money when their stock price goes up.
But similar to his take during the housing crisis, and he may or may not be wrong, and sometimes he may be early. And sometimes being early is equal to wrong when making a trade. Right. But all that to say, he is looking at it purely from a financial perspective of they're not turning a profit. And
well, their spend on AI is not fully turning the profit. NVIDIA is.
Yes, Palantir isn't. Are they?
Well,
let's see.
That's a great question.
Is Palantir?
Oh, well, we got to look up their P&L. So, from that perspective, he's basically saying, Burry, you are shorting the future. That's really dumb. Why would anybody short the future? Now, there is clearly a bias in this on both sides. Burry wants to make money, and by introducing his short, he already basically force dropped the Palantir price quite a bit, which plays into him making money. The CEO is upset that Palantir's price did drop. So all of that to say, it's really just a matter of time to see if all of the AI spend that's going on for these companies will actually create more revenue, or if it's just a big race that very few people will capture at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. So you're right. They are profitable.
Yeah.
But their PE ratio is 287.
Oh, that's it? What's their price of sales? That one is for growth companies. It's very interesting.
EV to sales is 69.
How about PEG?
PEG ratio
We're
for
just going to do
Palantir.
some quick analysis here.
Okay. Depending on who you talk to, 3.5 to 7.5.
Oh.
Depends.
Come on, Gemini. You got to be better than this. Well, anyway, it is an interesting dynamic, and really it's a wait and see approach. No one fully knows what's going to happen with the AI trade. Some people are thinking it's the next .com bubble bursting. Some people say this is the revolutionary part, and it's just going to, what's the term? Go up exponentially because of how AI is learning and the agentic AI and various other things, that it will effectively, unfortunately, put a lot of people out of work. So
again,
and make these companies more profitable.
I just have a hard time believing all of this hyperbolic language, and we've talked about this before, all this hyperbolic language around like the white collar job is going to disappear.
It's going to morph. It's going to change.
Exactly. It's going as it always does.
Right.
Just like the Industrial Revolution completely changed work, but it didn't eliminate work.
Right. Because people are creative.
Yes.
And will come up with new solutions.
And new needs and new issues come up that also have to be dealt with. So it's I can't remember who was talking about it. It wasn't Jamie Dimon. Who's the CEO that's also like a DJ?
Oh,
the Goldman CEO, right?
Solomon.
I think it was him. I can't remember, but somebody was talking about how like when they started as an analyst, like in investment banking in the 80s,
Solomon,
like what their work looked like was so different than what a Wall Street analyst's job looks like now. When you think about like they've got like Rolodexes and they're, like
you got
paper
your little calculator,
sheets
writing stuff down.
Yeah, like all of it was very manual.
Yeah.
And as technology progressed, at any point, especially as like computers got introduced and things started moving quicker with technology, I'm sure people were like, oh, the Wall Street analyst is gonna no longer exist. We won't need him. That's not true. It's just their job is very different now.
Yeah, it's very tech forward.
Yes.
Analyzing data. And there's so much data that you need computers, you need AI to come alongside you, but you also need to have that experience that's part of it.
Yes.
So I agree with that. It's just going to morph. We don't know exactly what into. That's part of the fun, right? I want to circle back to something.
Okay. Circle.
Well, there are two big things that we haven't broached yet.
Okay.
We'll save Kyle Busch for second.
Oh.
So the first one, and it's just a real recall back to Thanksgiving. Like we're all excited about it. People take off. However, there was a study done, and let me just make sure I'm on the right study because it was right here. Yes. Flex Jobs did a study of workers actually taking PTO, paid time off, last year. And there were 23% of workers that did not take their PTO at all.
None. 23%.
Did not
so nearly
take vacation days.
Nearly a quarter of workers.
People that had allocated PTO
did not
take it.
Was there a breakdown of like executives, managers?
I'm sure there is.
Individual
I can
contributors,
go find more detail
that would be interesting.
on that. But it is interesting because it was like 43% said they were drowning in work. That's why they didn't do it. 30% said they were worried about falling behind. So, you get back and all of a sudden your inbox is full of
yes,
50
the worst day of work
or
is
500 emails.
Yeah, the worst day of work is your
50
first
is
work.
one day.
Yeah, it's your first day back from a vacation.
It said 19% were afraid their bosses won't approve it. I'm like, wow.
I don't know. I feel like, because we've both worked in corporate America, I've worked for Fortune 500 companies, I worked for teeny tiny teams.
Teeny tiny teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and I can understand, especially when I worked like Fortune 500 super corporate, like there were blackout dates because everybody wants off around Thanksgiving. Everybody wants off around Christmas. For parents, people need time off during spring break.
Right.
So yes, you have to manage that. But overall, just to be like, my manager's not going to approve it, then why is it even there if it's not going to be approved?
Yeah. It's a little insane. And I think it just goes to show the culture that's been built up in the United States around work.
Yes.
And how much of our identity is also wrapped up in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, when we look at the actual numbers, the 43% worried about, drowning in work already. So it probably means like they're either not efficient in their job or they're just given way too much, right?
Yes.
For their own tasks to be accomplished.
And it's hard when it's self-reporting to know the breakdown of because I've worked with people who were overloaded by their manager.
Yeah.
And I've worked with people where I'm like, how can you possibly be this slow?
Please go faster.
This is not a difficult task. Why is it taking you all day?
Or the people that are worried about falling behind. And you're at some point you have to realize like life is more than work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you never realize that, there are people I know that will not retire. They could retire. They will not retire because their identity is so wrapped up in who they are in their work.
Yeah, they want to feel needed.
Yes.
They want to feel they get a level of like importance and validation from it. Some people are in jobs where like it's just easy and comfortable and they're like, I'm making money.
It's cushy.
It's cushy. Like that's a little different. But it's that question of like, what is your work for? Are you living to work or are you working to live?
Yeah. And
sometimes, depending on a person's circumstances, those are really hard to like distinguish.
Right.
But there are plenty of people in the like grind culture who spend all the LinkedIn posts. If you're not up at 4 a.m.
Hey.
doing your cold plunge.
No, like, you do the cold plunge after you've already worked out for an hour. So now it's 5 a.m. and cold plunge. Then meditate for 30 minutes. And then journal. And then it's 6:30 maybe? I don't know. I forgot to eat my breakfast, get my protein intake. And then you go
and everything has protein in it now. Yeah. Protein is the new non-fat.
Even Starbucks. I was like, but the funny thing to me is like they're like 3 years too late on that one.
But also,
let's put olive oil in it first.
Guys, okay. If you need to add some sort of protein to your coffee, like you need to rethink your eating habits. Like eat a chicken breast.
Eat some eggs.
Eat some beans. Like there's so much protein in so many different types of food.
Lentils, yes.
Like you don't. Okay, there are some protein chips that I really like, but because they taste good, not because I feel like I need to have, because it's processed, guys.
Man, she's got some muscles going on now. So
I'm trying. Yeah. I'm getting better. My goal is to be able, so for anyone who goes to Lifetime, I really like Alpha, shout out. But my goal, I really want to be able to do pull-ups on my own, which I've never had the upper body strength to do. It's really annoying. I work for months to get my upper body strength, and to even like I have to do it assisted with like one of those assist things.
That's fine.
I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But you can like not work out for 6 months and then you can just go get your pull-up bar and just like knock out a ton, no problem. And I'm like, that's just rude.
I mean, I do have a bum arm right now and I could still go knock out some pull-ups. So just wanted to.
I get we're designed and created differently, and that's beautiful and wonderful, but oh my word, it's annoying when I'm working so hard. Like when I can knock out push-ups that aren't like knee push-ups,
nice.
and I can without when I'm not like struggling and dying, I can do like 7.
Wow.
And that's awesome. That's significant for me.
Great.
If you could only do 7, I'd be like, do we need to go to the doctor?
Something's
you
wrong.
Okay?
Yeah.
You all right?
Yep.
Anyway.
All right. Let's talk about the last piece.
Eat more protein.
No, that's not Kyle Busch. He's filed a lawsuit against Pacific Life for an indexed universal life policy, which is a type of a permanent policy that he took out a few years ago.
So you have more experience in the insurance side than I do. So just for people who don't know what that is, give like a quick overview of what it is. Yeah, so an indexed universal life policy, it is a permanent life policy. So there is a death benefit if you were to pass away. And what it is, it has like a tie. It's not directly invested in like the S&P 500, but it is tied. The performance of the product is in some way tied to the performance of the index or indices that you choose. So when you say index, we're talking about S&P 500 is the most common. Yeah, could be NASDAQ. It could be Russell 2000. It could be the broader, aggregate index. So needless to say, the way it was set up was incorrect. So normally when you do these types of policies, we call them a 7-pay. That's the most efficient way to set up those policies, where for 7 years you're doing premium payments. Yes. And you let it grow. And then maybe it's year 11, you start taking money out that is quote unquote tax-free. You can do a loan, you can do a withdrawal. And that's quote unquote tax-free money that you're withdrawing from the policy. Which for Kyle Busch, and we didn't actually say this because a lot of people may not know who he is. Kyle Busch is a very, very successful NASCAR driver. Yeah. And if you think that's easy, you are mistaken. Messing with a NASCAR driver is not a good idea. Like, those guys are intense human beings. And he had made a lot of money from his racing. He also, like a lot of other athletes, he gets sponsorships and endorsement deals and all that. So what they were told, he and his wife were told, that through this investment, through this IUL, they were going to be set for life. They were going to get $800,000 of income per year. Yep. I think they put in 16 million, something like that.
Hold on.
These are large numbers, and that this policy after the 7-pay,
$8.5 million on the product on 10.9 million of premiums paid.
Okay, so with that, so they paid in 7. They were supposed to let it grow, and then when he decided to retire, they were told
premiums paid is 10.9.
Yeah. They were told that they were going to be able to take $800,000 out tax-free for the rest of his life.
Right.
So they paid in the 7. And then they got a notice.
They paid in 5. So
they did a 5-pay.
So the reason I was talking about structure is that normally if you're setting it up, the 7 years is the most efficient. They set it up as a 5-year. And because of his status as a race car driver, there are extra costs associated with having like a dangerous career that, hey, he could die in any race. Because of that, he has to pay more insurance. So what happened is that all of the extra costs that were associated with the policy, and I'm being very broad on purpose.
Yes.
All those extra costs that were associated with the policy ate into the cash value, which is really the premiums plus the growth on the policy over time, to the point that there was no cash value. They actually needed to put in an extra premium in year 6 that the policy never illustrated. And they're like, what is going on here? Like, this should have been set up. We didn't have to worry about it. But the fact of the matter is there should have been markers along the way from the advisor that said, hey, this isn't working as we thought it would. We need to restructure this or figure out another way for this to work for you.
This advisor, I would also like to point out, took a 35% commission on the top.
Huh? Wow.
Yeah. So before it ever even went into the policy, he got a 35% cut on the premiums paid.
Ooh.
Which is
That's
egregious.
Yeah, it is egregious.
So this isn't simply a policy was created incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
It was the illustrations were misleading at best. So the thing about it, though, is that it's not just that a policy was set up incorrectly, right?
Mm-hmm.
That in and of itself is problematic, that, like you said, no flag was ever raised.
Yeah.
But the illustrations, from what the attorney and what Kyle Busch and his wife have alleged, and the reason they're suing, is that they are saying the illustrations were misleading. So the illustrations, assuming there's validity to this lawsuit, and I think there's a lot of reasons to think that it is, was misleading at best, actively fraudulent at worst. And this happens every day. And some of it, and this is where I think a lot of the issue with the insurance sales world comes into play, is that, number one, a lot of these guys are only, and girls sometimes, are only trained in how to sell 1 to 5 different policies. And so they sell it to everybody with a pulse, even though it can be completely inappropriate. Or you're talking to 20, 30-year-old, like, young professionals, and you're like, let's annuitize part of your wealth. I'm like, what wealth? They don't have wealth to annuitize. Why?
The goal here is, like, just protect them and then go into how do we grow our wealth
and very
ways.
Very misleading promises, but they're very careful to make sure they're not phrasing it as promises of, like,
and you have
the tax-free. Yes, but like, oh, it's tax-free. And at its most basic, if you want to, like, reduce it to the most basic level, like, yeah, you could call it tax-free, but there's a lot in there that has to happen. Anyways, that's getting into the weeds a little bit. But I think the problem is that you have a lot of people who start out just, like, doing what they're trained.
Yeah.
But at some point, as an advisor, it doesn't matter that you have a boss. It doesn't matter, like, where you started or what you were trained on. You have a responsibility with, just, if you want to act as a person of character and integrity, to educate yourself on what it is you're actually selling.
Yeah.
You need to be looking at the illustrations, looking at what you originally told somebody was going to happen.
Yes.
And then be paying attention about whether it's happening or not, because so many times what the illustration shows and what actually happens are not the same thing.
Right.
And so I think sometimes it goes from just, like, being naive to being willfully ignorant. And then you run into, like, being actively misleading.
Right.
But it makes you a lot of money. There's those commission-based products pay out
very well,
big bucks.
Yeah.
Which is why insurance companies, like the lawyers for Pacific Life, are going to fight this so hard, because if this goes to trial, and they will do everything in their power to make sure it never does.
Right.
But if this goes to trial and a court precedent is set, if the Bushes win, that's bad news.
Well, it's all going to come out.
Yeah.
And all of this so far, unless you're in the space, many people are just, like, cursory glance at it. If it goes to trial, it's going to be on every news station.
And it was already picked up, like, AP News picked it up, a few other places. It started on some of, like, the car and, like, racing sites.
Yeah.
Because he was smart in his, like, marketing of it. They announced their suit leading up to the final race of the NASCAR season, which he wasn't in the running for championship, but there were more eyes on NASCAR, which I'm like, whoever your PR person is, good job. So I think it got more eyes on it because they were strategic about when they announced it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it doesn't have validity, but I think you're right and I think the insurance company and companies are going to do everything they can to keep it out of the news.
Well, when we talk about lobbyists, one of the biggest lobbies, just period, is related to insurance. I think we did an episode on that, and it was, like, the 3rd largest lobbyist group. Now we're including healthcare, we're including all these life insurance companies, annuity companies,
Yes.
all that together.
Yeah.
But it is a huge lobbying community, and they have sway.
They have
serious sway.
They are very well funded,
Mhm.
very organized, incredibly powerful.
Right.
There's a reason that the fiduciary standard is not applied across the board in our industry. It should be. 97% of Americans believe it should be. We can't agree on anything, but everyone can agree on that. And yet
here we are
because
money talks.
Yeah. And they have incredible sway on the Hill. They don't want anybody to know that. They're very quiet about it.
Right.
But they pay a lot of money. I personally think, I know we try not to get political, but I personally think that lobbying should be illegal in the United States. It has just become an avenue for corporate interests to have a megaphone that the average American doesn't have.
Well, how do we get the average American to have a megaphone?
That's a great question. I think if we could answer that, we might solve some of our well, I think to start, our representatives need to actually do their job of representing instead of lining their own pockets. And this is on every side of the aisle. Left, right, middle, independent, I don't care. The fact that these guys, what's the salary? Like $150,000 a year, something like that. And yet they all leave multimillionaires. Explain to me how that works.
Book deals.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, speaking engagements. Sure.
Hey, it is very lucrative to be a representative. It's lucrative to be a representative. Now, if you're an honest representative, there are times, especially younger ones, that they're all like bunking together and trying to figure out how to make ends meet.
Yeah.
But once they get their foot in the door, figure out how things work, speaking engagements, showing up.
They'll never admit it, but on the Hill, like lobbyists have sway on which representatives get put on which committees.
Yes, they do.
So if you want to be on a committee, which is like the only place to actually have sway, then you got to cozy up to the lobbyists.
Yeah.
It's such a backwards system.
Yeah.
That's not where I figured we would end up.
Probably not.
But
rank and file 174.
Yeah. So how
speakers 223.
And yet they all become multi-millionaires.
Yeah.
And like we know what the markets are doing. I know how compound interest works.
Pelosi.
Man, you know what Nancy Pelosi should do? Run a hedge fund. Because apparently she's a savant.
Or her financial advisor, whoever she's working with, should operate a hedge fund. Because it's
not
impressive.
So the thing is, she's the name that comes to mind, but she's not the only one.
There's so many congressmen. There's a Nancy Pelosi one, a Nancy ETF, NANC. And there's
it's amazing they created an ETF.
There's a Cruz ETF, CRUZ. Like everyone, they have to advertise similar to what you said earlier about Michael Burry. He has to every quarter reveal like what he's done, which comes out later anyway. So if you're acting on it, you're always a little bit behind.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see like their trading and how they've traded. And you just have to be like, okay, is there insider information being passed on to these advisors that are in control? Or is it like, hey, honest, above the board, everything's great.
And you just happen to be
always beating the market.
Yeah.
Always.
But which is a statistical anomaly.
Right. So I think we we leave it at that. We've covered a lot of ground today. It's been a really fun episode.
Interesting conversations.
Yeah.
It's great. Well, we are, like many people, juggling the schedules of school.
It is the holiday season.
It is the holiday season.
Yes.
So this will likely be our last episode before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Eat all the great food. Are you going to do your tri-tip? Are you going to try it?
I'm going to try my
You're going to try your tri-tip?
Yes.
You got a Rectech, right?
Yeah, just a smoker. Yeah,
smoker.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was a grill.
Rectech.
It's a smoker?
It is yes, it's
a smoker. Okay, I don't know.
Wow.
Okay, anyways. Dave is going to use his new smoker to smoke a tri-tip.
Yeah.
We'll tell you how it goes.
I don't know.
On that note.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Well, we will see you guys next time. We appreciate you listening, and we hope you've enjoyed it.
Bye, all.